all for you. I'm leaping over walls to get to you, but you won't last long. Won't last long. Seek all you are, we seek you. It's all for you. We're breaking up our chains around to you. Would you fill our hearts with, fill our songs? Here we are reaching. Song we sing to you. Leaving the lights on, we wait for you. This won't be the last song we sing to you. Here we're singing out.
Welcome to you. Glad you're here. I know we got finally schools out. I could just seeing all the school teachers coming in this morning in both hours. I could just kind of see the change in expression on their face, or just a little bit of a relief and refreshing joy. And so now we're into summer schedules, and we're glad that you're here with us this morning in this second hour. We had a powerful first hour of worship together, and we're glad to have you for this second hour, whether you're in the room here with us or whether you're online. And by the way, let me just say to guests and others that may not know, if you find yourself in a faraway place or way too far away to be able to join us here on Sunday mornings, you can join us on our internet campus. And we're delighted to have you. It's live, same times, 9:30 and 11. And let me just say welcome to those that are on our internet campus this morning. And just invite all of you, whether you're online or here in the room, to just join in this experience of worship. I know we have guests, and you may just kind of want to, if your heart kind of this morning is, I just kind of want to see who these people are and what these people are doing, you have permission to sit back and just kind of watch God's people in worship. And we'd also invite you, as the band leads us in song, they're kind of rocking it out this morning, to tap a toe or raise a hand or sing along with them if you know the songs and join in, or if you just need to sit back. That's fine too. If you are a guest, maybe first, second time, third time with us, one more word to you. I'm not going to single you out or ask you to identify yourself in any way, but I just want to say a special welcome to you and call your attention to the bulletin that you received when you came through the door. Hopefully you received one. On the inside of that, there's a little flap called connection card up at the top. It's perforated and tears off. Our church family uses that to share prayer needs with us, and we would be honored if you're our guest and you have a need or something you want to share with us. We'll do our best to honor that request. As you can mark on there just for the staff, pastors and staff, or just for the prayer team, or feel free to share this with the prayer team. We'll honor that prayer request. There may be some other request, some kind of sign me up kinds of thing, or maybe as we go through the service, God kind of stirs in your heart about something and you don't quite understand it. You would say, I have questions about, or I want to talk to somebody about. And just name that. Use that card as a means to communicate that if you'd like. Back over here in the corner is our guest services area, a big sign there, and there's a basket on that table. There's also some handout stuffs that tell a little bit about Northbridge, and you can just drop your connection card in that basket on that table. We'll get that, and we'll honor any request, to do our best to honor any request you make of us this morning. We're so glad that you are here. A couple of things I want to tell you about. Right after this service is complete, we're going to do a little Discovering Northbridge luncheon. This is a little gathering, a little informal luncheon we have. It's going to take place right here out in our cafe area. And it's just a way to find out a little bit more about Northbridge and who we are and the mission, vision, values of what God's doing, where God's leading. And Pastor Tony and I will be there as a part of that luncheon. And just if you have signed up, then we're looking forward to having you. And if you haven't signed up, there's enough food. We'd love to have you. Just write on that connection card, or maybe better yet, just after the service, come and find me or come and find Pastor Tony. Wave at me, Pastor Tony. And just let us know, hey, we're not signed up, but we'd love to get in on that luncheon and find out more about Northbridge. If we run short on food, Pastor Tony's been known to forego his lunch. And so we want you to stay and have lunch with us if you'd like to join us for that time. I also want you to be aware that in just a couple of weeks, it's barreling down on us. It's one of the really fun times of the summer we look forward to. We've got a lot of sports folks in our church, and we pull those folks together and do a sports camp for kids. We talk about basketball and football and soccer and little karate. We got all kinds of cool stuff going on. This year's theme is a strongman theme, and we've got a group that does strongman competition and demonstration. And in the midst of all of that, they hear about God's love and plan for their life. If you've got children, if you've got cousins or nieces or nephews or co-workers, neighbors, we would love to have them. They can go to the website, mynorthbridge.org, and find more information. There are sign-up forms in the kids' cafe, right down at the end of our cafe area, off to the right there. There's sign-up forms out there. Grab them, email or text some kids. It's just a fun time. Happens in Truman Elementary School. And a reminder, there's about 50 or so of our faculty and staff, of Northbridgers that are faculty and staff for that camp. And today you need to pick up your packet. You can stop in the Kids Cafe or the Kids Zone and grab your packet. See Amanda. Jennifer Kofer was here earlier. They're our co-directors. Amanda, wave at me. Amanda's over here on this side of the room. And see them and get your packet. That's going to be a great time. The final thing I want to talk about just for a moment is I want to say thanks to Northbridge and just update you a bit on our Joplin response. And I'm going to invite Sharon Vanderveen to the platform with me. Our missions team, headed by Lisa Holbert, has asked Sharon Vanderveen, who is a part of that team, to really function as a point person for our response to the devastating tornado that went through 2 weeks ago now in the Joplin area. And I've been so proud of the response of this church, really from the next day of our phones started ringing and our people, what can we do? And over the last couple of weeks, we've been involved in a lot of things and been going a lot of different directions. And I just wanted Sharon to be able to share just a bit about some of what we have been doing. And then we're going to have a prayer time once again today for Joplin. Sharon, just kind of bring us up to speed on what has been going on.
After all this happened, we had a prayer meeting that Wednesday. We had about 30-40 people who got together and prayed specifically for requests that they knew. And then that Friday, our church took a truckload of donations down to Joplin. They stopped at College View Baptist Church, and our connection there that's a friend of mine, the pastor, and his wife I went to college with. And then they took the rest of the donations to Forest Park. And then that Saturday, we took a team of 9 people down. Saturday morning until lunchtime, we took the donations that you guys gave, and we went out into the neighborhoods, and we met the victims and hundreds of volunteers that have given up their time to help with the cleanup, and we passed out snacks and water bottles, and they were so grateful for that. And when we got back for lunch, JR, the pastor, had gotten a phone call and said, can you take in 80 rescue workers and their dogs? And they said, sure, we're going to keep our door open to anything that comes up. So we took the time to clean their church and get that ready and prepare for them to be able to host those workers. And in the afternoon, we got a phone call saying that the hospital that had the destruction you guys saw in the news, they were needing water because they had 400 National Guard that was going to come in that night for dinner. And all the water was going out into the neighborhoods, but nobody was thinking about replenishing the water at the hospital. So we took 5 or 6 carfuls of water. And just a really quick thing I shared last time, it was cool how God has been answering prayer. Just as soon as the needs arise, he just answers the prayer. And all of a sudden that day, this guy comes up as soon as we got the phone call, and he had his truck, and he goes, I really want to use my truck to haul something. You guys need anything to haul? And that was right after we had that call of needing to haul all that water. So it's been really awesome to hear the way God's been answering prayer down there.
Our response as a church family has just been incredible. And I want to again say thank you. I've been so proud to be a part of this church. And churches all over, obviously, all over the area and literally all over the country have responded. Here's the latest now. We had a few things put out on our website, and we're updating our website almost daily with the information that we get in terms of needs. So you can just go to the website, mynorthbridge.org, or follow us on Facebook or Twitter on the Northbridge. And we're just almost daily, the needs are changing. So we had this week some things to bring, and some folks have brought some things. We're going to be delivering those. But right now we're going to push pause on bringing anything else. All the contacts there on the ground say we're pretty well supplied right now. We're going to continue to receive money to help pay for the relief efforts there. And it's primarily what we're doing with our funds that come in is we're helping to feed the volunteers that are coming in, and particularly those that are doing the cleanup now as that's begun. There's a group of churches, Spring River Association, that have set up feeding stations, and they're feeding hundreds and hundreds of people a day, and we're going to help support them financially. And we're also going to have teams that continue to go. I know there's a team heading out Tuesday for a one-day project. If you're off on Tuesday and want to go, Vicki Graves and Lisa Holbert are heading that team, and you can connect with them or Sharon, or just go on the website, fill out that online application that's on the website, and be a part of that trip. So we'll be continually going. There will be times when we will be bringing other things. We'll be putting on Facebook, putting on the website, hey, there's a need for, fill in the blank, and we'll be inviting you to bring things for that. This is going to be a long process of recovery, and we're going to stay with that all the way. And the final thing that we're doing, we are certainly going, we are certainly giving, and you have done both of those things, and we are praying for our friends and neighbors there. And this morning in this service, once again, as we did last week, I want to invite us to just go to a prayer time. I'm going to ask our prayers to kind of be centered on those churches that are meeting this morning, who have also been impacted, some with damage. Many have lost families, have families that have great destruction. And the churches themselves are trying to serve their community while dealing with their own destruction. And so this morning in this prayer time, we're going to pray for those. And I'm going to invite the congregation. I don't know who all might want to do that, but just where you are. You don't have to stand up. You don't have to get a microphone, but just voice a brief prayer for our friends and neighbors this morning in Joplin. I'm going to ask Sharon to begin our prayer time, and then as you would like, just voice a prayer right where you are, and just after a short season, I will pray to close our time this morning. So let's pray together now for our friends and neighbors in Joplin. Sharon, begin that time for us.
Heavenly Father, our hearts are burdened for the people in Joplin, and we just lift up the whole town of Joplin to you, and we just, again, want to praise you for all that you're doing down there, and the people that are coming to these churches, as the churches are opening their doors, even though they have needs within their own congregation, they're still opening their doors to serve their community, and I want to thank you for that. and their willingness to serve. And Lord, I just lift up the pastors to you, that you would just give them wisdom and just direct them to what you would have them to do in the next day, in the next weeks, in the next years to come. And just lift up their families, their spouses, and their children to you, and just give them encouragement, Lord, and just that you would surround them with your encouragement and strength. And I just especially lift up Forest Park and the ministry that they're doing there on Rangeline, and just thank you that you have provided that church right there to provide immediate need. I thank you for College View, that they're a rest place for the volunteers, and I just thank you for Wildwood, that is ministering to the medical needs there, and I know there are many other churches that have their doors open to you, and your work is being done through them, and we just want to praise your holy name for that.
Who else would voice a prayer for Joplin this morning, just right now, quickly?
On other people and to help bring other people to know you, to do your will, Father. In Jesus' name I pray.
Father God, these things we bring to you, not because we think you didn't notice or because you don't know, but somehow we desire to be a part of this divine, supernatural economy of prayer that you've created, whereby we unlock what you desire. We bring to bear your heart and your mind and your plans on the affairs of this earth, and we do that this morning on behalf of our friends in Joplin. Thank you for that privilege and honor. And we bring them in the strong name of our Savior, Jesus. And we pray. And everyone agree with that prayer said? Amen. Amen. Thank you so much. I want you to stand together with me just now. As the band gets ready to lead us in these couple of songs, I want you to join them in. First, I want you to greet one another. Find some folks. We got lots of guests. I want you to find some folks you don't know. Introduce yourself and greet one another just now, and then join the band.
Sing some more to our Father. You're arriving. You're arriving with the sound of thunder and rain. You're arriving in the calm The wind and the waves, you're arriving in the glow of a burning flame, burning flame. Praise awaits you at the dawn, it will come to light. Praise awaits you in the darkness, shines in the light. Praise awaits you in the song, love and desire, love and desire. Here comes the King, all bow down. Lift up your voices unto the Lamb. He is the King, all bow down, all bow down. You are coming again. You are coming again, like a thief in the night. You are coming again, with a shout from the sky. You are coming again, take away your pride, take away your pride. Here comes the King, all bow down. Lift up your voices unto the Lamb. He is the King, all bow down, all bow down. Sing his name, you are the King. You are the King. Lift up your voices unto the Lamb. You are the King. All bow down, all bow down. You are the King. All bow down. Lift up your voices unto the Lamb. You are the King. All bow down, all bow down. Tell me it's the King. You are the King. All bow down, all bow down. It's got no power over me. I have been set free. God is alive. Where is your sting? Sin's got no hold on me. I am free indeed. God is alive. We've been redeemed. So rise and sing. Jesus is alive. Let us wake and rise. Lift your voices, lift your eyes. We're gonna shout, we're gonna shake the skies. God is alive. We've been redeemed. So rise and sing. Jesus is alive. alive, He is alive, and we are free. The empty grave is singing, the empty grave is singing now, shining out. He is alive, He is alive, and we are free. We are redeemed, so rise and sing. Overcome. Jesus is alive.
Too much fun in church. Thank you. Be seated. We have been in this series called Happily Ever After, in which we've been dealing with family issues. We've talked about all kinds of aspects of family. We talked about moms and talked about a variety of things. Today we're talking about marriage, specifically slaying the dragons in marriage. I love that title the creative team came up with as we were unpacking this teaching series. And I'm excited about this morning. Already experienced this in the first hour, so I know a little bit about what's coming. And we are privileged to have some of our own North Bridgers, been with us for a long time, Max and Carol Loya. They are both licensed Christian counselors. They have a ministry called Not Your Ordinary Therapist. Max is also on staff of a pregnancy care center here in Springfield with Men's Ministries program. And they do a lot of counseling on their own. And this morning we've invited them just to talk with us about that topic, slaying the dragons in marriage. Over this past weekend, they have been conducting a workshop, a Marriage 2.0, taking your marriage from good to great. And they'll talk probably just a bit about that. And that finished up yesterday, and they'll be doing a variety of more of those. So in just a moment, I'm excited for you to hear and just invite you to open your mind and let God's Spirit speak to you through Max and Carol Loya this morning as we talk about slaying the dragons in marriage. But first, I want you to, maybe during this next piece, you may, I don't know, want to just close your eyes and envision someone else other than who's on the platform as you listen to this.
1, 2, 3, 4. You're a falling star, you're the getaway car, you're the line in the sand when I go too far. You're the swimming pool on an August day, and you're the perfect thing to say. And you play coy, but it's kinda cute. When you smile at me, you know exactly what you do. Baby, don't pretend you don't know it's true, 'cause you can see it when I look at you. And in this crazy life, through these crazy times, it's you, you make me see your every line, every word, your everything. You're a carousel, you're wishing well, and you light me up when you ring my bell. You're a mystery, you're from outer space, you're every minute of my everyday. And I can't believe how that I'm a man, and I get to kiss you, baby, just because I am. Whatever comes our way, we'll see it through, and you know it's all that I can do. In this crazy life, and I sing along. You're my everything. Yeah. So la 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 la. So la 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 la.
So how many of you are married? You're married? Stand up. Awesome. Tell me now, what's so good about marriage? All right, leave me hanging. Come on. Togetherness. What else? What are some awesome things about marriage? Friendship. Someone you can talk to. Yeah, really open up your heart. Somebody who knows you better than anybody else and loves you more than anybody else.
Companion.
Strong
companion.
Strong companion. Yeah. How about this? Marriage is a 2-member team that always wins. Better than sand volleyball.
Marriage gives you a lot of tax breaks.
That's true too. She likes this. Married men earn more.
And you know what? You have a human ladder.
Marriage makes you live longer, as long as you don't fall off the ladder.
Married people have less stress.
Less depression.
And the most romantic thing in the whole wide world is getting married.
And the most important vow you can make is in sickness and in health. Marriage it's awesome. There are some things that you get in marriage that you don't get anywhere else. And so today we're going to be talking about slaying the dragons. You know, marriages get attacked, right? Why would somebody want to tear up a perfectly good marriage? Any ideas?
They don't want to put in the time to fight to save it.
Okay. It takes time and some energy to work for your marriage, doesn't it? What about Satan? We're talking about dragons. Who's in the Bible? Who's the dragon?
He loves it.
Yeah, Satan. You know why he loves to tear up marriages? Because there are so many things that we want to do for others and for God. He gets us sidetracked. He gets us involved in all kinds of other stuff so that we don't have that time and the energy to devote to serving others, to serving God, to doing the things that we really, really, really would love to do for others. So, as we get started this morning, everybody knows what the 2 biggest problems in marriage are, right? Number 1 is? Money. Number 2 is? Number 2, everybody says, is sex. Sex and money. I've got news for you. I don't really think those are the 2 biggest problems in marriage. We're going to be talking about 4 things this morning, 4 dragons that will weigh your marriage down, that'll tear it down, that'll just eat you up alive if you don't deal with them. So the first thing we're going to look at this morning is complacency. Yeah. Where did the spark go? Just kind of coasting along on autopilot. Let us give you kind of an idea about what complacency looks like from the wife's versus the husband's point of view.
Well, you know what? You get up and you make sure that the kids have a lunch and they have all the papers signed that you teachers give them to parents to sign. And we sign them and we send them off to school, and then we go to our job, and then we come home and we figure out who has to go to practice and who has to go to violin lessons. We come home, we cook supper, we make sure that the homework is done, the kids are in bed, and we fall into bed. And we think, does he really even notice what I'm doing? Does he even care that I took care of all these things? And he is just clueless.
From his point of view, he's thinking, I don't matter anymore. The kids are more important than I am. They get all the attention. I just get the leftovers.
So you come to the weekend and there's no dates, there's no dinners out, and then the big anniversary is coming. And he forgets, and it's no big deal, and it's like another day, and you think, well, what is this marriage anyway? It's taking me for granted.
What's he thinking? Gosh, when we go out, she doesn't bother to fix up her hair anymore. She doesn't bother to dress up. In fact, she comes to bed wearing an old t-shirt and sweats. Complacency. Where did the spark go? Life happens. We know that. Things are not all fun and games, and everything is all the highs in life. But I think that marriage should be more highs than it is the lows in the life and just putting things on autopilot. How can you tell if things maybe don't have the spark that they used to have? Other people notice. When was the last time that you went out together and somebody came up to you and said, "You guys must be newlyweds"? Isn't there something about that spark when we first get married? Where does it go? What happens to it? Well, typically what happens is we don't put any effort into making the other feel special. We're not taking time to have fun with each other and to enjoy each other. God, He gave us marriage for us to enjoy each other. And sometimes we forget to take time to do that. So, how do you fix that? Church should be practical, right? Shouldn't you be able to take home some stuff that you can use to work on things? So I'm going to do a couple things this morning. Fixing the romantic part of your marriage is not rocket science. So I'm going to do a couple things. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to give you a 15-15-15 list. 15 things that you can do within 15 miles of home for $15 or less. Okay, rack your brain a little bit. What can you do within 15 miles of home for $15 or less? Art walk. Ooh, I like that. What else?
Go to the dollar movie.
Yeah, dollar movie. When's the dollar movie? When?
Anytime you want it to be.
Tuesdays for the dollar. Otherwise, it's $3. It used to be $2 and it used to be $1. But hey, it's all day Tuesday, $1, man. That's cheap. What else? What's another thing you can do? $15 or less within 15 miles of home. Bowling. Another one?
Ice cream cone.
Hey, go get a cone.
Go for a hike.
Yeah, go for a hike. It's not rocket science, folks. Picnic. Good deal. There's lots of things that we can do. We just forget to sit down and take time to do it. It's not rocket science. It takes some time and it takes some willingness to do it. Let me give you another example. Everybody that's married here, stand up. If you're not standing by your wife, go to where your wife is and stand by her. This is something that every time that we show this to couples, it's amazing the reaction. Not only then, but they come back and tell us afterwards, hey, this is something that we've made a part of our day. We do this every day. And I tell you what, it has really made a difference in how connected we feel and our relationship with each other. This is called the 10-second kiss. And so what you're going to do is I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, go, and you guys are going to kiss your spouse for 10 seconds. Literally, I will count out 1, 2, 3, and for 10 seconds, you guys are going to kiss. And then when I get to 10, you can stop. Did we decide what we would do if they didn't want to stop after 10? Well, just keep the cameras up here on the platform, okay? Don't go out through the crowd. Are you ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7.5, 8, 9, 10. How did that feel? Somebody wanted to clap. How did that feel? Did you feel the connection there? Yeah. Church will never be the same again, will it? Go ahead and sit down. Put the spark back in. Man, that makes all the difference in the world. Second dragon that we want to look at this morning. This is probably one of the biggest things that's just a real killer. And Satan loves to get in here and wreak havoc with it. And that's an unwillingness to forgive. We've all been hurt. We all understand what it means to have that pain like a dagger in your heart or a knife in your back. Sometimes we get to the point to where we think that, that's just it. I can't forgive him. I can't forgive her. This is the end of our relationship. Let me tell you this. Our relationships, our marriages can stand up to just about anything except an unwillingness to forgive. What happens? What is forgiveness? Help me out here a little bit. Talk back to me. When you say forgiveness, when you think about forgiveness, what does it mean to you?
Letting go.
Letting go. What else?
Releasing the right to punish.
Releasing your right to punish the person that hurt you. What else does forgiveness mean?
Freedom.
For who?
Yourself.
For yourself. That is interesting. We're going to get to that in just a minute here. Does forgiving somebody mean that you condone or excuse what they did to you? A lot of people feel that, well, if I forgive them, then I let them off the hook. No, it doesn't mean that you condone it or forgive it. In fact, you can forgive somebody and still call the police and press charges. It's an interesting thought, isn't it? But be totally free of carrying that around with you. Does it mean that you deny that what they did happened? Does it mean that you say, I'll just get over it? Is that what forgiveness means? No. Forgiveness does not mean just get over it and forget about it. Does forgiveness mean that you have to kiss and make up, so to speak? Go back and reconcile with the person that hurt you. Go back and have a friendship with them again. Go back and pick up where you left off. No. The truth is there are some relationships where it's not healthy or even safe to go back into a relationship with that person. If you've been in an abusive relationship, you can break the relationship off. You can forgive the person. That does not mean that you have to go back into the relationship. You can still have freedom from that hurt without going back into it. What about forgiving and forgetting? Does that sound good? And that'd be wonderful, wouldn't it? To be able to say, hey, it's gone, I forgot about it, not ever going to bring it up again, never remember it again. Are you really wired that way?
No.
What if somebody broadsided you? Say it was a drunk driver, broadsided you and killed somebody in your family. I would never forget that. But that doesn't mean that I couldn't forgive them. So forgiving is not, forgiving and forgetting. So if you can't forget it, does that mean you have to confront the person and get in their face and say, look what you did to me. You messed things up. You hurt me. Does it mean that you have to do that?
No.
What happens if the person's dead? If forgiving means you have to confront them, you're sunk. You're going to be stuck for the rest of your life without forgiving them if you have to confront them. They may be on the other side of the world. They may have forgotten all about it. You're stuck with the damage. You can't find them to confront them. You're stuck with not being able to forgive them if that's true. But the truth is that you can forgive them without ever seeing them again. Does the other person have to come and get down on their knees and say, oh, I'm so sorry, I really hurt you and I understand it and I want to make it up, I want to make things right? That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would be really nice if people, unfortunately, most of the time people don't do that. A lot of times people hurt us and they move on, they forget about it, they couldn't care less. So what do you do? What do you do in a situation like that? Can you forgive them without them ever coming and apologizing to you? Yeah, you can. You know why? Because forgiveness is a decision. You know, we want the emotions. We're emotional beings, and we want the emotions all wrapped up in it, and the crying, and I'm so sorry, and I'll never do it again, and all of this stuff. And the truth of the matter is that it's got to start up here in your brain. It's got to start as a conscious decision that I'm going to forgive that person. If you don't, there's some negative effects from not forgiving. Number one, you're not going to be able to move on. When somebody hurts you and you choose not to forgive them, it's like a ball and chain around your ankle. You can't go anywhere without it. Making that decision to forgive is the key to opening up that lock, leaving it there, and saying, hey, I can move on towards growth, I can move on towards the future, I can move on towards healing. But it's a decision that you have to make. If you don't forgive, you're blocking that growth and healing in your life. If in your relationship, in your marriage, there are things that you do not forgive, tell me, is your marriage growing? Are you headed where you want to be with it? No. That unforgiving spirit, that unwillingness to forgive, totally cuts that off. You're living in the past. You're still stuck where that event took place. If you don't make that choice to forgive, you're not going to be able to move on. So, yeah, forgiveness is a decision. Forgiveness is something that you have to, in your mind, choose to do.
Well, a couple of years ago, we had finished graduate school, and as we finished our last final, we went out to lunch with friends, and a friend came and she says, you know, my husband and I have been praying about this, and we want to give you and Max a car. So we want you to drive out to our farm and come and pick it up. The title is signed, and we made the arrangements, and we made the date, and we drove out all the way out to West Plains, all the way out there to have a nice dinner with them. And down in the driveway was a Jaguar convertible XJS, brand new, not brand new, 1994, and it had, the title was signed for our name. It was a total surprise, and it was a gift, and we just thank God for it every single day, that God had just surprised us with such a cool gift. And it's fun. We like to drive it in the summer when we go out on dates and just enjoy that car. So one night last fall, we were eating dinner, and our son, one of our sons, went out to go somewhere, and we heard a crash. And Max went out there, and one of our sons had backed the Toyota into that Jaguar, and the light on the side is out, and there's a dent there, and I didn't see it until the next morning, until the daylight, and I saw that, and I thought, okay, I can choose to forgive him, or I can choose to be mad. And I just had to say, okay, Lord, I choose to forgive him. He's a good driver. He didn't mean to. He just didn't see it, so I choose to forgive him. And then the next day, and the next day, and every day I get into that Jaguar, and I see that dent and the lights out. I think, oh, okay, I've got to choose to forgive him again, because, you know, God gave me the son before he gave me the Jaguar, and so I have to say, well, God gave me him, and he's more important to me than this car that I really like. And so I have to just say to myself and remember, okay, God gives me all good things, and he gave me the son before he gave me the car, and so this thing isn't as important as the son is. So choosing to forgive is a daily process that I have to do. And so sometimes forgiveness isn't just that one time I forgive you, but it's every day when we see, oh, okay, I forgave him, I choose to forgive him one more time. So, you know, the next dragon that we want to talk about are the dragons of life transitions. And that's kind of maybe psychobabble or clinical speak, but life transitions are like when you have that wedding, big wedding, that small wedding, and you go on your honeymoon and you're coming back, and then you decide, well, which side of the closet is yours, and which part of the house is going to be for this item, and we organize and we adjust to living with that new person, and that's a really hard transition. And then the big transition comes when that first baby comes. We come from two different ways of thinking. Our parents raised us one way, and his parents raised him another, and then we have the in-laws and our parents, and this first baby is here, and we want to do the best thing for that baby, for that new son or daughter. And statistically, U.S. Census says at year 7 or 8, more divorce occurs than at any other stage of marriage. That first marriage is at very high risk. So if you are in that stage, if that first baby is a newborn in that first year, you are at extreme high risk. Why? Well, this new person in your life is demanding 24-hour-a-day care. He has all these needs, and your relationship goes on the back burner. And sometimes that relationship never comes back to the front burner to get nurtured and to get cared for. And so if you are at that place, just be aware, oh, well, this is probably why we're having some struggles and some issues right now, is because, well, our relationship isn't first, our baby is, and we have to adjust to that. Adjustments are tough. So then that baby grows up and they become teenagers. Well, we have teenagers, a lot of teenagers in our house right now. We have 3 right at this present time, and we've had up to 4 in our house at once. And they're tugging to be independent, and we're kind of tugging them back, and we're pushing them to be independent, and they're pushing to be back not independent, and it's a tug of war between the generations and launching them, and that is a struggle for the relationship. So you're successful and you get them launched and out into the world, and then they're gone. And I have a lot of people that come into my office and they're like, well, I don't know you anymore. And they kind of look at their husband or their wife and say, well, now what? We have spent all this time raising these kids and they're out successful, and now what are we doing? What is our relationship like? What do we have left? And at that point, that is the next highest risk, statistically and according to the census, that has divorces, that first baby, and when the kids are out and on their own. So if you're in that point, you're at high risk for having some problems. So be aware of that. And then you kind of get over that, and then your parents are struggling, and you're reparenting your parent. And that is also the next time when marriages are at high risk for divorce, because you're taking that role of parent, and it's a difficult role, and it's an abnormal role to be in. So at all those places, if you're aware of, oh, well, this is probably why we're having problems right now. And I know this just in the last few weeks, we had 2 graduates, and we had one come home from college, and we started fighting, and we're like, well, what is going on here? Well, when we realized, wow, it's because we've got a lot of things going on in our family, and this is why we're struggling. So when we're aware, then we can slay that dragon with just being aware and being insightful and creating a way to take care of that dragon by just simply staying and just spending that energy not on each other, but on realizing, oh, this is why, so this is how I can conquer that dragon.
We used to, for a long time, I know you're like me, it's like sometimes it takes years before the light comes on. 27th of this month, we'll be celebrating 30 years together, and you think that, well, there's some things probably I should have realized a long time ago, but sometimes it doesn't work that way. There would be times when things were just topsy-turvy, and it's just kind of like, this upheaval going on. And, we'd have this tension, and, we'd have these things going on, kind of being at each other. And finally I realized, what? Sometimes we just don't do very good when there's turmoil and changes going on. And I stopped to think about it, and I realized, gosh, you know what? One of the things when we really get into this is when the kids start back to school. Getting the stuff for them, getting their clothes, getting their supplies, and getting everything all taken care of. And I had to realize, you know what? This is just one of those times of change. And so I got to take a deep breath and just step back and say, hey, you know what? This is just for a little bit of time. We're going to get through this, and we're going to go on. Kids getting out of school, right? Kids have just gotten out of school, so now everybody's home. So we got to go through another adjustment, another transition. So when you go through these transitions and you start experiencing all of the change, sometimes it's just not easy to handle. But when you realize it and you understand what's going on, you got another tool to be able to handle it and to do it successfully instead of kind of letting it eat your lunch. The fourth dragon we want to talk about is assumptions and expectations. I don't know if you realize it, but there is hardly anything that you can do that you don't have some sort of an expectation about. When you went to bed last night, you expected to get up this morning. You didn't expect to be dead when you got up. You expected, I'm going to go to bed, going to get up tomorrow, going to go to church, going to have lunch. You know, when you came to church this morning, there were certain things that you were expecting. Now, some of those expectations may not have been met. Some of them may have been. The point is that expectations play such a huge role in our lives that we can't escape them. And when you get married, guess what? You guys have expectations about how things should be. Wives, you have expectations about how things should be. And there's a little thing that I got from a friend that will help us out here. A couple that we were talking with just a couple of weeks ago said, you know, when you showed this to us, it really made all the difference in the world, because we had some things going on. They had gone out on a date one night and things didn't turn out the way that they wanted, and by the time things kind of got going, she said, hey, forget it, it's too late, and the whole evening was just a wash. Last time, when this happened a couple of weeks ago, he said, you know what, it started out that same way. Things were going out on a date, things just didn't work out the way we had expected to. We started to get into this mode again, this fight, this forget it thing, and I realized, oh, you know what? This is one of those expectation things. And when they realized that, they were able to forgive, to step away from it, put it behind, and go on and enjoy the rest of the night. So when we have expectations, it's kind of like when we get angry sometimes, we see red. And what I learned about this red here is that R stands for reality. We have to live in reality. E is our expectations. We want things to be a certain way. It doesn't always end up that way in reality. D stands for disappointment. So, when reality doesn't meet up to our expectations, guess what? That equals disappointment. And I have gone through that. I can't even begin to tell you the number of times. I wanted something, I expected it to be a certain way, and it didn't turn out that way. I got disappointed. And then when you get disappointed, then that can lead to getting angry. It can lead to not being willing to forgive. And it just snowballs from there. So understand this. Life's not perfect. We have these shoulda, coulda, woulda type of things. And a lot of times they don't measure up to what, reality doesn't measure up to what we want. So you know what? We have to practice the forgiveness. We have to be willing to say, okay, you know what? It didn't turn out that way, but that doesn't mean that we have to let it ruin everything, especially our relationship. We can have things turn out different from that. One of the biggest things that I can think of, biggest examples of this, is when we got married. You know, when you get married and you're kind of starry-eyed and you're seeing everything through rose-colored glasses, you're thinking that, you know, hey, this is a match made in heaven, right? What can go wrong? You know, we're supposed to be together, and so because we're supposed to be together and God made us for each other, then that means that everything is ought to be just smooth sailing. We shouldn't have any big problems, any real problems. We shouldn't have any disagreements or any fights, you know, because, hey, this is the way that Hollywood shows that it is, isn't it? You know, this is the fairy tale type of ending. We're talking about happily ever after. So, yeah, we ought to, you know, be able to just real simply live happily ever after. What nobody told me was that relationships are hard. And having a good relationship, having a good marriage, takes work. we're kind of brought up to believe that, hey, if you just kind of let nature take its course, then everything's going to work out fine. Our parents really don't teach us much about relationships. And we don't understand that, it's like anything else in life. How many of you at work, every year or every 2 years, you have to have a certain number of CEUs, continuing education units, to keep your job or keep your license, your status? Your work requires you to do that. How many of you have to do that? Yeah. What are they expecting us to do? They're expecting us to keep on top of things. They're expecting us to keep up to date with what's going on. They expect us to gain new skills, to practice those skills, so we can remain effective at work. Those of you that like to play golf, how do you get better at golf? You set aside some time, right? You go out to the range, you say, okay, on such and such a day, I'm going to go out, I've made a reservation for 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to spend an hour just hitting a bucket of balls. You have to work at it. Why do we think marriage is any different? Why do we think that, oh man, just let nature take its course and everything's going to be fine, we don't have to do anything to work on this? And it's exactly the opposite. Nobody ever told me marriage was work, and it took a while for it to sink in and for me to realize, hey, you know what? If I want to have a good marriage, I got to get some tools. I've got to ask somebody to coach me. I've got to get some good books. I've got to get some people around me that will help me to understand what it takes to make a good marriage and how I can be a good husband. It's work. It really is. And this fairy tale thing about, letting nature take its course, let me give you an illustration about that. You're walking down the beach. We love the beach. Okay, so all our illustrations are centered around the beach almost. So you're walking down the beach, and you look down, and there's an iPod in the sand. You think, wow, man, this is great. Somebody dropped their iPod, and they didn't come back and get it, so I got a cool iPod now. Well, how did that iPod come into being? Not how did it get there in the sand, but how did it get made? What did it take for the first iPod to roll off the production line? Help me out here. What's it take to make an iPod? R&D, research and development. Somebody had to come up with the plan, and they had to draw it out and had to come up with a process to make all the different parts. What else?
Somebody had to pay for the whole thing.
Yeah, somebody had to lay some money out for it. So when you develop a new product, yeah, it takes some money to do it. What else did it take?
The idea.
Yeah, the idea. It had to start with an idea somewhere. And so then from the idea, then it goes to making some plans, it goes to making some drawings, it goes to figuring out a process. There were probably literally millions of man hours put into the idea of an iPod before the first one ever was made and put on the market. Now, you walk down the beach a little bit further, and you find this rusted chunk of iron there on the beach. Now, what did it take to make that piece of iron a rusted chunk of iron? Let nature take its course. And in your relationship, if you're just letting nature take its course, do you think you're going to end up with the iPod versus the rusted chunk of iron? No. If you're not putting the energy and the time and the investment into your marriage, into your relationship, you're headed towards the rust instead of towards the awesome iPod things that you can have in your relationship. So it takes work. And as we finish up this morning, I want to go back and revisit one of these dragons for a minute. And that's the dragon of having an unwillingness to forgive. You've got to make a decision about that, just like you do about getting better at golf or getting better with your job skills. Like I said, our marriages can survive almost anything. Marriages that have gone through affairs, through money problems, through all kinds of different things. It can come back even stronger. It sounds ridiculous, but it really can, because of a willingness to forgive. The thing that will nail the lid on the coffin every time is saying, I'm not going to forgive. I can't do that. So actually, it's not the event that nails the lid on the coffin. It's that statement, I will never forgive him. I will never forgive her. It's that unwillingness to forgive. So what do we do about it? Do you understand that there are some positive things that come from forgiving? We've already seen that. We've seen the negative things. You get stuck in the past. You're not free. You're chained down to it. What are the positive things that come out of forgiving? First of all, you're released. Who's forgiveness for? Is it for the person that hurt you, or is it for you? It is. Forgiveness is for you. We think it's for the other person, but no. Forgiveness is for you. It's to set you free. It's to unlock that ball and chain from around your ankle that you can leave it there and step away from it and move on to healing in the future. So when you do that and you make that choice to forgive, what are you doing? You're making the choice to heal. So there's healing there when you're willing to forgive. When you forgive something, not only will it help you, but imagine this. What if your willingness to forgive something in your relationship was a tremendous blessing and a healing for your kids? Wow, that's really something, isn't it? Maybe there are things in your family that you have been carrying from generation to generation to generation because of an unwillingness to forgive. And now it's your turn. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to pass it on to your kids? Or will you make that decision to forgive, that conscious decision? Forgiving gives you control back. Do you understand that when you refuse to forgive, you're not in control? You think, I'm going to make him pay for it. I'm going to make her hurt for it. No. If they've already gone on and forgotten about it, how are you going to make them pay for it and hurt for it when you're the one carrying it around? It just doesn't work that way. It gives you control. It gives you your life back. It gives you your joy back. It gives you your happiness back. It gives you your future back. Obviously, it puts you in God's will. God tells us, that we are to forgive each other just in the same way that Jesus forgave us. When you think about it, what God forgave us for, what we had to forgive others for, what we had to forgive our husband or wife for, it's just little stuff in comparison. Probably one of the biggest things that forgiving will do for you is it'll open you up to receive love from all the people around you, not just your spouse, not just your kids, from all the people around you. And it'll open it up so that you can give love back to people around you. And you know what? Isn't that what we're supposed to do? How do people know that we're Christians? By the hurt and bitterness we keep inside? No. By our love for each other. And that love is blocked until we can forgive. I'm going to ask the band to go ahead and come on back up. And while they're playing, I want to give you guys an opportunity to take a look at this unwillingness to forgive in your life and your relationship. So what I'm going to do, married couples, I want you to stand up again. I want you to stand next to each other and hold hands. When you hold hands, what are you feeling? Are you feeling connection? Or are you feeling some distance there? If you're feeling that there's something between you, then you know what? It might very well be that you're holding on to something that you very well could make a decision to forgive, but for some reason you've chosen not to. And today, it would be the most awesome thing for you to walk out of here and somebody come up to you and say, "You guys are newlyweds, aren't you?" And that's what can happen when you experience that forgiveness. Carol and I are going to be down here in front if you would like to talk with us during this or after the service. Pastor Mike is over here. Pastor Tony's back over there on that side. And there's not a better gift that you could give your relationship than to give that gift of forgiveness.
center of our lives. Be the place we fix our eyes. Be the center of our lives. Oh Christ, be the center of our lives. Be the place we fix our eyes. Be the center of our lives. And you're the center of the universe. Everything was made in you, Jesus. Breath of every living thing. Everyone was made for you. You hold everything together. You hold everything together. Oh Christ, be the center of our lives. Be the place we fix our eyes. Be the center of our lives. And you're the center of the universe. Everything was made in you, Jesus. Breath of every living thing. Everyone was made in you. You hold everything together. You hold everything together. You hold everything together. You hold everything together. Oh Christ, be the center of our lives. Be the place we fix our eyes. Be the center of our lives. Oh Christ, be the center of our lives. Be the place we fix our eyes. Be the center of our lives. We lift our eyes. We lift our eyes to heaven. And we wrap our lives around your life. We lift our eyes to heaven, to you. We lift our eyes to heaven. We wrap our lives around your life. We lift our eyes to heaven, to you. Oh Christ, be the center of our lives. Be the place we fix our eyes. Be the center of our lives. Oh Christ, be the center of our lives. Be the place we fix our eyes. Be the center of our lives. Oh Christ, be the center of our lives. Be the place we fix our eyes. Be the center of our lives. We lift our eyes to heaven, and we wrap our lives around your life. We lift our eyes to heaven, to you. And turn your eyes, and turn your eyes upon Jesus, and look full in his wonderful face. things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light of His glory and grace.
Thanks, Max, Carol. What I love is this truth that I know. God wants the very best for our homes. He wants the very best for our marriages. And He's willing to go a long, long ways in putting people around us like Max and Carol. If we can serve you in any way, Pastor Tony, myself, if we help you in any way on this subject this morning, please call on us and let us do that. If nothing else, I thought that 10-second kiss, man, I'm liking that. And I got to do that. I was in both services. There is a value to coming to both services, really. We're going to next week we'll continue the series and we're going to talk about singleness. The subject is kissing the frog. So if even if you're married, I promise you're going to get something out of next Sunday as Dave Myers talks about kissing the frog. Glad you're here this morning. Thank you so much for just your presence, for what you're doing, for your prayers for Joplin. Continue to pray about that, and if we can serve you in any way, we count it a high honor to do that. Please let us know. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of the day.